Morning Dish.
He's the hardest working man in show business. His band's music takes you into the midnight hours. And when you wake up, his voice is back on your radio alarm clock. How on earth did this happen?
Well, Jeff saw me taking out the trash at the radio station.
And he won another award.
But this one is better.
I'm your boogeyman. That's what I am.
It's the Morning Dish with the 2019 Radio Personality of the Year winner, Stephen Phillips.
You paying attention to this, Packy?
And Murphy's own Sherry Raines.
Yeah, you must have given horseback passes to the right guy, Stephen.
Well, giddy up.
And Packy Smith's Shetland pony is right alongside.
You guys know these demo tapes don't just edit themselves together, right?
Well, all right.
3 cheers for Stephen Phillips.
Y'all need to help Stephen Phillips out over there. Out the door and off the radio.
Here's Stephen Phillips.
All righty, folks, back with you. Been telling you all about it. We got the man who sings Nobody Wins. Just call me lonesome, crazy over you, and the whole 9 yards. The list keeps going on. Mr. Radney Foster, good morning.
Good morning. I have a song called The Whole 9 Yards.
Well, yeah, I love that song. That's actually my favorite one. That's a redneck terminology, so this just keeps going and going and going.
I'm really familiar with redneck terminology because I was born one. So there you go.
Now, if you write a song after I said that, see, I get a cut of that. Just remember.
You're just telling me now.
Yeah, just a little advice there. But no, man, I love your stuff. Gosh, you mighty started out with Foster and Lord back years ago, and then you come out with your own. What was it? Del Rio,
Texas, 1959, which is where I was born. And next year is going to be the 30th anniversary of that record.
Wow.
We're going to do a Del Rio, Texas tour. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a tour where I do that record as the first 10 songs in the set.
Well, that was a great record, man. I mean, no doubt.
It was a real game changer for me because I had just left Foster and Lloyd, and that was really and it's so weird to say left Foster and Lloyd because it was literally like I'm going to take a break and try to do a solo record, and then we're going to get back together and do and it just never happened. I mean, other than actually it did I don't know. I think in 2012, 10 or 2012.
Right. But after that album, though, it'd been crazy to go back because I mean that just
it just
skyrocketed.
Exploded. Yeah, everything in my life exploded.
Yeah.
So.
But I'm gonna tell you one of the songs that my favorite, which it wasn't your song, but you reinvented the song, "The Running Kind" by Merle Haggard. That is amazing. I love that guitar riff when that thing first comes on. I turn it all the way up.
I have a great story about Merle and that song. First of all, Merle was always so great to me, and you meet your heroes. And then to have your hero just want to hang out and be your buddy. I mean, that alone is just this mind-blowing thing. And I still, to this day, can't wrap my head around it. But we did that Mama's Hungry Eyes record, which was a benefit for Second Harvest Food Bank.
Right.
And Merle told me how much he loved that song. And I've got a bunch of songs. I got a bunch of stories about Merle I can't tell on the radio. That's okay.
We've heard a few of them before. I think you got a couple about Guy Clark too. We can't talk about on the radio.
Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of those.
So Radney, this is the other Steve. We have something in common. I used to live in Del Rio, Texas.
What?
When I was a boy, I sure did.
There's only 35 people in Del Rio.
Yeah, well, you'll know, of course, Laughlin Air Force Base.
Yes, of course.
My dad was out there in pilot training in the Air Force,
right.
And I was a little boy there, and out there riding my big wheel, getting those little stickler thorns, always flipping up off the wheel. You know what I'm talking about? They were all over the place out there.
Yeah.
And that place is hot as Hades. Yeah. I remember that.
Absolutely.
My mom would get so mad because I'd run in and out of the house with my friends, and one day she locked me outside the house and let us sit out there and cook because she didn't want the air conditioning to leave the house. But Del Rio, I've got some fond memories of that place.
I lived. My grandmother kept the base is. Most people don't know this, but if you learn how to fly a jet in the United States Air Force, or even from lots of foreign countries. You go to one of two places. You go to Del Rio, Texas, or Minot, North Dakota, both of which are the ends of the earth, right? But you can fly 300 days. It just doesn't rain there. You can fly 300 days a year, and so it's a relationship that goes back decades. My grandmother, when my grandfather died, my father was still in law school, and then had to go into the army to serve his 2 years of even though it was peacetime, they still had a draft in the 50s, and so she boarded in her house. She boarded pilots, young guys in pilot training who were bachelors.
Wow! And
she'd have 3 or 4 of them at a time living in her house, and she made them meals. It was a boarding house situation. That was truly a boarding house situation. And those guys visited all through my entire life till she died. They all would come back, and visit my grandma.
Mm-hmm. I can believe that.
Yeah, really. Really cool.
It's a great story.
So now you left Texas and you went to Nashville and in a Volkswagen, right? You drove a Volkswagen?
Yes, sir. In a Volkswagen.
Okay,
How did you know in a Volkswagen?
Let me ask this. You showed up in Nashville in a Volkswagen from Texas with no cowboy hat. Was that hard trying to convince people that...
Oh, I had a cowboy hat. I just wasn't wearing it.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't on a ranch. The funny thing about that, it's like, I remember one time I was in Austin and I had been on somebody's ranch and there was a band that I was thinking about producing. And this is in the Foster and Lloyd days, and so I had my hair pulled back in a ponytail, and I had a Bangor hat. I don't know if you know anything about cowboy hats. Bangor hat.
Oh yeah.
This is a hat that's a summer hat, but it's been lacquered so hard you can like soak it in sheep dip if you want to, or a trough of any kind, and you just shake it off and it still stays the same. And I had a Bangor hat on and my hair pulled back in a ponytail, and I had to drive into Austin to hear this band play. And I drive in, and unbeknownst to me, the guy who had been with me had moved from Arista Records to Columbia.
Right.
And they were looking at that band, and so all these guys from Columbia Records, and I knew most of them, were all there, and they didn't recognize me,
Right.
And then one of them came up to me and said, "Radney?" I said, "Yeah, what are you doing?" I said, "I'm here thinking about producing that band." I said, "That's good, because we're thinking about signing that band." I said, "Well, okay, we're all here for the same reason." He's like, "I don't even recognize you. I didn't even know you knew how to wear a cowboy hat." I said, "Okay." I'm going to tell you what, other than George Strait, you put me up against any of those guys wearing cowboy hats, I guarantee I can outrope them.
There you go. Now you talking.
It may not look like a cowboy, but my grandfather is a cattle rancher, and I can guarantee you, I know how to do everything you're supposed to do as a cowboy. So.
Now, you've produced a lot of bands. You even done did you not produce Randy Rogers on a couple of his albums?
I did his first 3 records.
Wow.
And as a matter of fact, a little secret, I'm doing his latest record.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I sent the mastering. I can't tell you the name of it or any of that kind of stuff because they've got a publicist and a contract and all that kind of thing. But I just sent their first single from the record to the label.
Wow.
So we're kind of excited about that. And we cut 6 sides. We all went to losing. There on his second record, there is a studio that is it's a destination studio. It's on the Vermilion Bayou in Louisiana, just outside of Lafayette. And the cool part is you go there and they get someone to cater Cajun food, and you just stay there.
Oh, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and it's like, and they've got a runner who will, it's like, y'all want those drive-in frozen daiquiris?
I love Cajun food.
Run, get 6 of them. So whatever. And it was pretty cool because that's where we went for the second record, and we all went back there, same guys, same engineer. And I asked Randy, I said, what do you feel about going back and like, see if we can't rediscover that magic? And the cool part was my son, my middle son, who's now 22 years old and graduated from Blackbird Recording Academy in Nashville, was the second engineer. So that was a real full circle moment. And every single guy in the band came up to me and said, you know, your boy is kicking it and kicking it really hard. And
proud Papa.
Oh man.
Yeah, proud Papa.
Let me tell you. Oh yeah. When there was a couple times where, you know, he was in the driver's seat engineering.
Right.
The main engineer was working on vocals, you know, and I watched him lead a guy. It's like, hey, what if you did this, that, there?
Right.
Like I went, oh, that's a great idea. I got so emotional I had to walk out the room.
Well, that's where the music comes in. I mean, that's where the magic happens, like when everybody's heads working together on that. But now you told, I kind of got the very last song that you played when you was down in Atlanta. We was actually outside playing in the heat at 100 degrees. But anyway,
it was hotter than hell that night.
Yeah, but you was in the air conditioning. But the song that the last song,
but it still was. Listen, it was working okay unless you were slinging a guitar around for an hour and a half.
You wasn't outside with us, but that song, that last song you did, you stole a story where people had actually sent you letters about this song.
Yeah.
I want people to hear this and tell them the name of the song.
Oh, the song is called Godspeed, and it is when my oldest, my first wife and I had a divorce when my oldest was very young, and it was a messy situation, but from age 2 to age 5, I had him half the time. We had joint custody, and then at age 5, she remarried a Frenchman and wanted to take my son to France, and of course that led to a horrible lawsuit and a big mess. And she won. Tennessee had some odd laws at the time, and you know, I went from seeing my child, you know, every week and sometimes, you know, every other day, if not every day, to you know, not seeing him for months at a stretch while he was living in France. And I wrote a lullaby for him, and I thought it was just going to be between me and him. And I recorded it on a cassette like 7-8 times, you know, and he would go to sleep to it at night. To his mama's credit, I'm sure she didn't want to hear my voice when she was trying to go to sleep at night, but she let him play that thing every single morning. And he did it. And then I ended up recording it, and Emmylou Harris sang background vocals on it, but it ended up getting recorded by the Dixie Chicks, who are now the Chicks, you know. Which is funny because we all just called them the Chicks back then.
Right.
So, you know, that thing went so virally worldwide. I didn't expect the number of letters. You know, I got letters, speaking of, you know, I got letters from guys in Afghanistan, you know, thinking of current events.
Wow.
I got letters, you know, how they had sung or you know, sung the song through a satellite phone to their kids.
Wow.
You know, I got letters from, I've recently gotten letters from moms who have said, you know, I danced that song. Could I get an autographed, you know, copy? They would, you know, we printed up these long time ago, these Father's Day cards that had the song and the story of how I wrote the song in the Father's Day card.
Right.
And we still sell them on the website. And you know, I've gotten requests from moms. I know it's Father's Day card, but would you autograph it to me? But because I sang that song to my son, and I just married him off, and the mother-son dance. That's what we did, you know. And then the biggest kick in the head and the heart is I've gotten multiple, you know, emails, but then often also just registered letters at my management office from people wanting, and from their attorneys wanting to know what permissions are necessary to put part of the lyric of that song on the grave of a child.
That's amazing.
Which I can't even imagine that kind of sorrow. I mean, that's my worst nightmare. And mine are grown.
But I mean, for a song to touch somebody like that means a lot. Yeah, means a lot. Radney, we have got to get to break, man. We're getting up to the breaking point. But anyway, give everybody your information, how they can get up with you and follow you. And I am a super big fan and love your music and still follow you today. And you get out.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, everybody come see me at radneyfoster.com. We're doing all kinds of cool things. And like I said, it's just my name, radneyfoster.com. And you can find out about tour stuff and stuff to buy, and my latest book and my latest record and all that stuff.
Yep. So we got to get you back on. We need to talk about the book next time you're on here, which is a pretty cool.
Yeah, come on. I'll do it.
We'll do it. So anyway, but yeah, this thing's going to cut us off, but we sure do appreciate it, Radney. And thank you for getting up early and talking to us.
Pleasure's all mine.
All right. Take care. Thank you for spending a little time with us. And remember, you can tune in every morning at WJULradio.com at 8 a.m. Eastern. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel and like us on Facebook, The Morning Dish.